Hi everyone, Kellyanne here, and we're going to go ahead and make a southern sweet potato pie. So we're going to start with, we have 4 medium sweet potatoes. You can also find them in your store that might say yams. You'll know because they're the orange ones on the inside if you break it a little bit. I went ahead, I baked them. This is just a baking nail that you put in there, and it helps it bake evenly and faster. And then we also have, some our seasonings. We're going to do some cinnamon, we have some allspice, some nutmeg, a little ginger, and then we have our vanilla butter extract, and we have a little almond extract, as well as some lemon, 1 stick of butter, 2 whole eggs. And then as far as the sugar, it's going to be about 3/4 cup of brown sugar is what we're going to start with. Sometimes you're going to adjust it because sometimes sugar is not always as sweet as one batch or another. So add 3/4 cup and then add a little bit more if you don't feel it's sweet enough. We like it pretty sweet though. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to take the jackets off the potatoes. So I just have a butter knife and I just slide it through like so. And then I pull off one of the ends and it just slips right on off. See how it's all puckered up? It just slips right off. I like baking my potatoes. I find when you bake them, you don't run into the problems of your pie not setting, or when you're cooking it, because you're not boiling it and then having to worry about the liquid that was in there. And I'm just going to peel this little piece off. It's just a part of the peel. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and wipe my hands real quick. So I'm going to take my potatoes. I'm going to take the back of the fork. And I'm just going to run it through the potatoes. See? They just mash real easily. You're already any black dots or anything that are on the sides from you pulling the skins off. Just pull them out and discard it. It's fine. Okay then. So for the pie crust, we're kind of cheating. This ain't like grandma's. We're kind of cheating. We're in a pickle tonight. I'm kind of tired. Want to go to bed. So we're just using a pre-made pie crust. I had one. It was easy. What I did though is I just took the pie crust and I added a little melted butter to it, and then sprinkled just about a teaspoon of sugar throughout it. And then I just let it sit. I'm going to pop this in the oven while I'm baking this off. Or excuse me, while I'm mixing up the sweet potato. I'm going to pop this in the oven for about 10 minutes. And then take it out. Go. That'll just help the sugar and the butter will form together and they'll bond. And so it'll just make a really nice crust. You always want to bake off your crust first. We'll do it. We're just doing it for 10 minutes and then we'll check on it then. Okay then. And then let's see, we're going to take our butter. I'm going to pop it in the pan. And I'm going to let this go ahead and melt. And we are using this entire stick of butter for the pie. A moment. I'm just sticking it in the oven since the oven is already warm, and I'm going to watch it. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and start with, I'm going to get a bowl, a separate bowl, so I can crack my eggs in it. And we'll go ahead and start with the sugar. This is dark brown sugar. I prefer dark. Oh, I forgot. Excuse me. We're not going to do 3/4 cup of dark. We're going to do a 1/2 cup of white sugar and a 1/4 cup of dark to start with. I apologize. A moment. My measuring cup. And this is just regular white sugar. Some people prefer Domino sugar. It's just a better quality. I'm just using regular. I think it's just great value, or whatever I got at Costco. We're going to go up to the 1/2 cup mark. And we're just going to pour that in there. And then I'm going to take my dark brown sugar, put a 1/4 cup in there, a 1/4 cup packed. So once you put it in there, you're going to go ahead and pack it down so that you have an accurate 1/4 cup of dark brown sugar. I'm just meshing it down in here. And so that has us not quite at a 1/4 cup. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more. There we go. We're right there at a 1/4 cup. So we're going to go ahead and add that in. I'm going to set this aside. Then I'll go ahead and crack my eggs. I'll take my fork and I'll beat the eggs up. And just until they're nice and mixed. And I'm going to set that aside. So I'm going to go ahead and do some ginger. I usually put like a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger in there. Just adds a nice flavor. We're going to do about another 1/4 of nutmeg and just a little bit of cinnamon, probably about 1/8 of cinnamon. And then we're going to use some baking powder. We're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And the teaspoon is the one that says TSP. So you see half right there, and then TSP, 25 mils. That's 1/2 teaspoon. And I just take it, scoop it up, and slide it under there. So I don't peel this off because I use it to help me measure accurately. Put that in over there. I like to put a splash of lemon. It helps bring out the sweetness and just adds a nice little brightness to it. So that's probably about like a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon. And then for my almond, do about 1/8 teaspoon of almond. We're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of the butter extract. Now the butter extract, it just takes your pie to a whole nother level. I know we're using butter, but the butter extract, it just gives it a nice richness. You'll like it. Go ahead and try it. Y'all will like it, I promise. And then for vanilla, doing it, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla as well. And then I'm going to go ahead, take my fork. I take my fork and I just want to mix all my dry ingredients in here. I almost forgot I need to add a little bit of salt. So we're going to do like 1/8 teaspoon of salt. That's the smallest one. Oh, this isn't 1/8. This is 1/4. So I'm going to do like 1/2 of this 1/4 to make it 1/8. And the salt is going to help bring out the sweetness of those sweet potatoes as well. And it's just regular plain salt. If you want to use fine kosher or fine sea salt, you can. It's not going to change the taste of the pie at all. And now I'm just mixing it up. I like my pie to be kind of chunky, so I don't like it, you know, completely smooth. Some people like to go in with a hand mixer and make it smooth. If you want it smooth, go ahead and do that. But we like ours kind of chunky. Then I'm going to add the egg. There we go. And this is just going to make one pie. Four medium sweet potatoes will make one pie. If you do 6, that'll bring you about 2 pies if you do the just regular depth pies and don't do the deep dish ones. This is just going to be one deep dish 8-inch pie. And I'm just mixing it, getting everything well incorporated, making sure that I don't have any chunks of sweet potato, or excuse me, chunks of brown sugar that I didn't mix in very well. Okay. Okay, let me go ahead and check my pie shell. There, looks nice. Looks nice. So I'm gonna let this cool for about 5 minutes, maybe 10, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add the sweet potato into the shell. And I'll be back with you in just one moment. We're back, and I've gone ahead and I added in probably 3/4 that cup of stick of butter, melted butter. I added that in here, gave it a good stir, and now I'm going to go ahead and pour it into my pie shell. I'm going to fill her up to the top. Don't worry about it. It will settle when you put it in the oven, when you bake it off. There we go. And I like my top kind of to be a bit rustic. I don't like it, you know, all smoothed out. If you like it smoother, or, you know, to smooth out the tops of your pie, that's, you know, absolutely personal preference. That works. Okay, I think we lost one of our lights. That's fine, our light ring. And now I'm going to go ahead and place this in the oven on 355 for approximately 35 to 45 minutes. You'll notice it'll be enough time. And once you take it out and let it rest, that's when it sets. Okay? And I know you notice I put any evaporated milk. I don't put any evaporated milk in it. I don't like my pie to be, I don't like to dilute the sweet potato at all. I just like to keep it very purist, so to speak. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pop this in the oven, 350 for 35 to 45 minutes. We're at higher altitude, so sometimes things cook a bit faster. So right at 30 minutes, I'll put it in the oven on the bottom shelf. I'll start off on the bottom shelf for about 15 minutes, and then I'll switch it to the top shelf for another 20 minutes. Okay? And I'll be back. Thank you.